Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becky, Sunshine Girl 07. And it's been almost a year since I did the last video. And it's been a roller coaster of a year. 2022 and actually 2023 were really hard for me. And I'm just going to give you a quick update. And then in my next video, I will let you know more the details on it. But 2022 in February, my mother passed away. And that was hard for all of us, especially for me here in Washington State, and she was in California when this happened. And then it was really hard for my brother Joel. He was my roommate, my brother, and younger than me, and my friend. We became very close. We had a neat relationship, very close relationship, my brother and I didn't know how strong of a bond siblings can have, but it says that it is proven that siblings have a very strong bond, and he and I ended up with a very strong bond. But anyway, my brother had a series of strokes in 2023, started in 2022, started in August 2022 when he had the first one. And it was a whole roller coaster of emotions because he had it, but something unexpected, and he was scared that he would die. The first one, he was doing well for the couple of first days in the hospital that he said, I want to go home. His doctor told him, you shouldn't go because we don't know the repercussions of the stroke. But he decided to come home, and we took him to the pharmacy first, and then he came home, and that evening we had to take him back to the hospital, to the ER, because he began to have symptoms like when he had the first stroke. Weakness, and his speech was, he was slurring in his speech and things like that, and we knew, oops. And so he said, you guys better take me. He was still able to walk, and we drove him to the ER, and they did some more tests, and the thing was, it was the same stroke that had grew. And this is the explanation that his neurologist, I want to call him something, a neurologist told him when he saw him the next day, that it had, because he had it in the back of his head, it had expanded. And sometimes it happened within hours, it happened with a couple of days, but the area where the stroke happens begins to die, those cells. And so then you started to have all these symptoms. He was having problems with mobility. I believe he almost fell off the bed in the ER because he wanted to get up and he couldn't. And he began to lose mobility on his right leg, and he got scared. And he was telling us, if I want to be like this, and if this gets worse, and I won't be able to speak, because my brother was the senior pastor at the church, the founder and senior pastor, and he said, my life is preaching. That's what I do. That's what I enjoy doing. And if I cannot do it anymore, I might as well die and go to heaven. I'm ready to go. And his youngest son was there. His oldest son lives in California. I had to call him. I was almost crying when I called him. I woke him up and I told him, your dad is back in the ER. She's not doing well. The stroke is expanding, and he says he wants to die. Talk to him. And so he talked to his dad, convinced him to fight, told him, you're going to recuperate, you're going to be well, you have to be alive for my wedding, because my nephew and his wife had decided to get married in July of 2023, so it was almost like a year to go, And he said, I want you here for my wedding. You have to be alive for my wedding. And he just encouraged him. He prayed for him, and my brother decided to fight for his life. And he asked God, give me life, enough life that I can see my son getting married. That was his desire, to see his oldest son getting married. And God granted him his prayer. And yeah, but like I said, it was a roller coaster. From there, he went to the ER, and not the ER, oh my gosh, rehab. They sent him to rehab. And he did really well at rehab. He was recuperating, doing all of that. One evening, I think it was like at 3 in the morning, I get a call from the rehab place, and they told me, your brother was taken to the emergency room of the hospital close to the ER. I keep saying ER, to the rehab. And I said, what happened? And I thought, oh my God, another stroke. And she told me he was shaking a lot, and he was having problem moving his legs. And in this case, it was both legs. So they took him to the ER, and they did all kinds of tests, and finally they said, no, it's not a stroke. We thought maybe it's a ischemic stroke. That's probably what it is, an ischemic stroke. Oh my gosh, I forget the name now. One of those quick strokes that happen, and it's like it does something, but then it's gone, and that's it. Look at my hair. But anyway, and so it could have been that, but my brother told me when I went to see him the next day, he told me he was so scared that he thought, if I'm going to lose mobility on both of my sides, I might as well just die. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be stuck in a bed, unable to do anything for myself. He was strong and independent man. All of a sudden, he saw himself that way. And it was really hard for me to see him that way. I thought I would get really emotional. That's why I waited so long to do this video, because every time I would talk about it, I would cry. So I waited a long time to do this video. Like I said, 2023 was a roller coaster of emotions. He's getting better, and then things happen again. So from rehab, he came home, and he was using the walker, and then a cane. He was able to walk with a cane. He went back to preaching again. That's what he loved to do, was preaching the word of God. And so he was happy about that. And then my dad calls me that my sister is has been hospitalized. She went to get, I think she got a molar pulled off, and they gave her too much anesthesia. And she is allergic to a lot of anesthetics. And she's always very careful telling them what to use on her whenever she has some work done on her mouth. And apparently they put a little bit too much. She almost passed out. They had to call the paramedics on her. She ended up in the ER for 3 weeks. She couldn't stand because her legs would be wobbly and shaking. And I was like, what do I do? Do I take a trip down there to help her? But she wasn't happy. I knew she was not going to die, because eventually one of the doctors said, I think it was an anesthetic. And my siblings, because I have 3 other brothers who also live in California, they took turns to go visit her, and so to make sure she wouldn't be alone in the hospital, in the sense of, follow-ups on how is she doing and all this stuff. And I would talk to her on the phone, but I was debating, do I go? My brother was doing a lot better, but I was concerned leaving him alone for a long periods of time. We could leave him alone for up to a couple of hours of that, what they had told us. And so if I had to step aside, I had to make sure I would schedule it with my nephew. One of the 2 of us would be here with him. We didn't want to leave him alone too long. And he kept saying, you can go if you want to, I'm okay. And I said, listen, if I go, you're going to spend too many hours by yourself, because your son works. And so it's not like I'll be here for a while. You just, because what if something happens? So I stayed, and I'm glad I did, to help him out. We were concerned, making sure that he was okay, helping him everything that we can. But anyway, he was doing a lot better. We were really happy about that. And in March, when I took him to his appointment with the neurologist, he was cleared to drive. He didn't do it right away because we didn't feel that he was okay to do it. And I told him, because his right leg was still weak. So he was trying to exercise the leg to make it strong, because you have to accelerate and brake with the right leg. But he was excited that eventually he was going to be able to drive again. But then in April, he had another stroke. And yeah, that one also had consequences. So he never drove again. He did recuperate from that one. And I'm going to leave it here because I don't want the video to be too long. All I can say is that it has been very hard. He had more strokes after that. He passed away December 2nd, 2023. And I have been mourning really hard. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional now. It was really hard for me because I drew so close to him that to see him go, it's been tough. And then I had other health issues with myself. But it had been a very hard year. I'm in therapy for that, for grieving therapy. It has really helped me a lot. And God has been really good to me, has really helped me through this time. And if you're going through something like this, a loss of a loved one, I understand you completely, because it's so hard to let them go when you really love them. But I will give you the rest of this update on another video. But anyway, I'm okay. I'm surviving. I'm okay. God is with me, and He's giving me the strength that I need to move on and to get on with life. And I will see you next time. Bye.